King Von was black disciples to the core raised and repping O Block on 64th and King Drive, a stretch long known as one of the most dangerous blocks in Chicago.
My brother got harassment, O Block, 3rd, 64, like, everybody would want to go over there because my brother, like, he the real.
However, new footage of his mother surrounded by alleged Gangster Disciples members has surfaced online, and the internet is calling it the ultimate betrayal of everything Von stood for. This is what happened with King Von's mom and the GDs, and why the footage broke the internet. The clips quickly spread across X, TikTok, and Instagram. Videos showed Tasha Bennett, King Von's mother, in clubs dancing, posing, and socializing. Photos circulated widely. One post from a popular hip-hop page showed Tasha in a form-fitting brown bodysuit with gold boots, captioned about her being ready to hit the club in her 50s. That post alone reportedly pulled over 11,000 likes and nearly 2 million views. But the comments weren't about her outfit, they were about the people standing near her. Internet users claimed the men around her were Gangster Disciples members, identifying them based on tattoos, hand signs, and alleged affiliations. Rumors surfaced in late 2025 and early 2026, suggesting Tasha was dating or socializing with a GD member. Fans repeated the same question. How can she be around GDs when her son died repping BD? To understand why that question carries so much weight, you have to understand who King Von was. King Von, born Davon Daquan Bennett on August 9, 1994, was a Chicago rapper affiliated with the Black Disciples, specifically from the O Block neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. O Block is named after O.D. Perry, a fallen BD member. Von's lyrics often referenced gang rivalries, particularly tensions with the Gangster Disciples. The BD-GD conflict has lasted for decades and has claimed lives on both sides. Von's public identity was deeply tied to that ongoing war. On November 6, 2020, at just 26 years old, King Von was fatally shot during a confrontation outside a nightclub in Atlanta, Georgia. He left behind 3 children, a growing catalog of music, and a mother who would now carry his legacy in the public eye. Tasha Bennett is that mother. She raised Von in Chicago. She watched him struggle, face legal troubles, and eventually come home and pursue music. She saw him sign to Lil Durk's Only the Family label and release hits like Crazy Story. She was there through his 2019 murder trial, where he was ultimately acquitted. His sister, Kayla B., later recalled sitting in that courtroom, saying she believed her brother would beat the case based on how the witnesses testified. After Von's death came the tributes, the memorials, and the posthumous albums. Then this footage surfaced, his mother appearing near alleged GD members. The internet didn't wait for context. It reacted instantly. Tasha responded publicly. She denied any romantic involvement with GD members and stated that her personal life had nothing to do with gang politics. She said she is focused on healing and living her life. But by then, the narrative had already taken off. The footage was circulating, opinions were formed, and Tasha Bennett found herself at the center of a controversy she never asked for. To understand why the reaction was so intense, you have to understand the history behind it. A conflict that stretches back more than 50 years. The rivalry between the Black Disciples and the Gangster Disciples isn't just a rap feud. It's a generational conflict rooted in Chicago's South Side, long before drill music ever existed. The origins trace back to the 1960s when Chicago's industrial base began collapsing. Manufacturing jobs disappeared, steel production declined, and many African American communities on the South Side, families who had migrated during the Great Migration, faced unemployment and systemic marginalization. Housing discrimination through restrictive covenants limited where Black families could live, and redlining practices by banks cut off access to loans and investment. In that environment, young Black men, feeling unprotected and abandoned by institutions that failed them, formed neighborhood crews for protection and survival. Over time, those crews evolved into organized street gangs, laying the foundation for conflicts that would last generations. Out of those harsh conditions emerged the Disciples, who later evolved into the Devil's Disciples. One of the founding members was a teenage leader named David Barksdale, widely known as King David. David Barksdale became a central figure in the organization and was famously referred to as King David. King Von reportedly claimed to be the grandson of David Barksdale, the founder of the Black Disciples, a claim that strengthened his personal connection to the BD identity. Meanwhile, in 1964, a group of young men met at the home of Larry Hoover and decided to form their own crew called the Supreme Gangsters. The group that would later become known as the Gangster Disciples traces its origins back to that meeting in 1964, when those young men gathered at Hoover's home to establish what would eventually grow into one of Chicago's most influential street organizations.
They decided that they wanted to start their own crew and take over the block.
They watched the hustlers from a window and realized they were positioned right on the border of rival territory. So they decided to claim their own block and establish it as theirs. At first, the Supreme Gangsters and the Disciples had no conflict with one another. But as Barksdale expanded his organization into what became known as the Black Disciple Nation, tensions began to rise, and the two factions eventually clashed. Ironically, in 1969, they chose to merge and formed the Black Gangster Disciple Nation, with Hoover and Barksdale sharing leadership. That fragile alliance lasted about 5 years, until Barksdale's death in September 1974 from kidney failure related to a previous gunshot wound. The loyalty to King David among his followers was too strong for Larry Hoover to fully control. After David Barksdale's death, members splintered off and re-established the Black Disciples as a separate organization. What followed was essentially a civil war. The BDs and GDs, once united under the same banner, became bitter rivals. That conflict never truly ended. During the crack epidemic of the 1980s, both groups fought aggressively for control of Chicago's drug trade. The GDs were rumored to operate a massive cocaine network out of housing projects, such as the Robert Taylor Homes and Cabrini Green. The BDs reportedly operated from what they called the Castle, a headquarters that allegedly generated hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. Both sides recruited young members, and the violence became relentless, personal, and cyclical, each act of retaliation fueling the next. Conditions inside many public housing projects deteriorated over time. Residents dealt with crumbling infrastructure, limited enforcement of housing codes, and unsafe conditions. In places like Cabrini Green, reports once documented hundreds of shootings and stabbings within a single year. Gangs marked territory with graffiti and, according to accounts from the era, used high-rise buildings as lookout points. Much of the violence centered on territory, drug revenue, and long-standing rivalries between BD and GD factions. By the 1990s, federal authorities began targeting leadership figures in both organizations. Larry Hoover received additional federal charges after investigators alleged he continued directing activity from prison. He was eventually transferred to a federal supermax facility in Colorado, limiting his communication with the streets. On the BD side, law enforcement cases against high-ranking members in the late 1990s led to numerous indictments. In the early 2000s, the demolition of major housing projects, such as the Robert Taylor Homes, displaced residents and gang members alike. As communities scattered, centralized leadership weakened. In its place emerged smaller, more localized street factions, sets that claimed individual blocks and often feuded with neighboring blocks. Regardless of historical alliances, one of those blocks was Parkway Gardens, later renamed O Block in honor of O.D. Perry, a fallen BD member. O Block became one of the most widely known BD-affiliated areas in the country, referenced in music by artists like Chief Keef, Lil Durk, and eventually King Von. Across nearby streets, GD-affiliated sets such as STL, later nicknamed Tukaville, and EBT developed their own identities, with rappers like FBG Duck representing their side. The rise of drill music amplified these neighborhood conflicts to a global audience. Online commentators and media platforms documented the rivalries, and fans consumed the back and forth like a television drama, even though the consequences were real and often deadly. This was the environment that shaped an entire generation, including King Von. When people reacted strongly to footage of his mother near individuals alleged to be GD members, they were reacting through the lens of this history. A history deeply embedded in Chicago's neighborhoods, families, and losses. For many, the BD-GD split is not abstract. It is tied to real lives and real graves. King Von was not seen by supporters as a distant observer of that conflict. He grew up in Parkway Gardens, the housing complex younger BD members renamed O Block. Between 2011 and 2014, the area experienced significant violence, gaining a reputation as one of the city's most dangerous blocks. GD-affiliated sets across nearby streets, including STL and EBT, were considered direct rivals. In 2014, at age 19, Vaughn was questioned by police in connection with the fatal shooting of Gakira Ki Barnes, a 17-year-old associated with the STL faction. At the time, inconsistencies in witness statements prevented charges from being filed. Years later, unsealed Chicago Police Department documents named him in connection with the case, though he was never convicted in relation to it. His sister, Kayla B., has acknowledged being aware of reports about her brother, but has declined to confirm any alleged involvement. Understanding this backdrop helps explain why emotions run high whenever Vaughn's name, legacy, and the BD-GD rivalry are mentioned, even years after his death. She pushed back strongly against the posthumous accusations being attached to Vaughn's name. "They're not going to put that on my brother. He's not here to defend himself. Let him rest." Kayla made it clear that her brother's name should not become a dumping ground for unsolved cases. She asked people to stop dragging him into every open investigation simply because he was no longer alive to respond. The feud between BD and GD factions intensified during the drill rap era. Vaughn exchanged public taunts with GD-affiliated rapper FBG Duck from the STL/Tukaville faction. In 2020, Duck released a diss track mocking deceased O-Block members by name, escalating tensions even further. According to federal court documents, Vaughn was later alleged to have placed a monetary bounty on Duck. On August 4, 2020, Duck was shot and killed in Chicago's Gold Coast neighborhood. In January 2024, 6 individuals associated with O-Block were convicted on federal racketeering charges connected to the killing. 3 months after Duck's death, Vaughn himself was killed. On November 6, 2020, he was shot outside an Atlanta nightclub during an altercation involving rapper Quando Rondo's crew. The man identified as the shooter, Timothy Lull Tim Leaks, later described the incident publicly, saying his firearm malfunctioned during the exchange. He was also shot by responding police officers and required significant medical treatment. In August 2023, prosecutors dropped all charges against Leaks under Georgia's Stand Your Ground law, concluding that he had acted in self-defense. Kayla B. was present in the parking lot that night. She did not witness the shooting directly, but she heard the gunfire. What followed were phone calls that shattered her world in stages. At first, she was told Vaughn had been shot but would be okay. She stayed awake for hours, trying to hold on to that reassurance. Then came another call telling her he was gone. She later described seeing the news online and feeling like her world collapsed in that moment. This is the documented grief that sits behind every discussion of King Vaughn's legacy. Fans often process the BD-GD conflict through music and online debates. His family processes it through 7 a.m. phone calls confirming a loved one's death. Tayshaw Bennett did not choose to become a public figure. Her son's fame, and then his death, pushed her into the spotlight. Since then, she has navigated that space with visible grief, defiance, and a refusal to disappear. She raised Vaughn in a neighborhood marked by violence. Vaughn's father, Walter E. Bennett, known as Silk, was largely absent due to incarceration and was killed when Vaughn was 11. Tayshaw has spoken about the pain of losing her child's father and the emotional weight that placed on their family. When Vaughn's music career began to rise, she supported him but reportedly disapproved of his continued involvement in street conflicts. In past clips, she could be seen urging him to move differently. Kayla has described their mother as strong-willed and stubborn, acknowledging generational differences in how they see the world. After Vaughn's passing, Tayshaw became more publicly visible. She managed parts of his legacy, posted tributes, and responded to rumors. On anniversaries of his death, she shared heartfelt messages honoring him. When asked what she missed most, her answers were deeply personal. His smile, the way he tilted his head, the way he said, "I love you, Ma." At the same time, she refused to exist only as a grieving mother. She continued posting about her outfits, travels, and nights out. Some praised her confidence. Others criticized her, saying she should behave differently as a woman in her 50s. When she faced online attacks over her clothing choices, she responded bluntly, defending her right to dress as she pleased. When an AI-generated image falsely depicted her at Vaughn's gravesite, she publicly denied its authenticity. Then came the footage showing her socializing near individuals that internet users labeled as GD-affiliated. Rumors spread in late 2025 and early 2026 claiming she was dating a GD member. Social media quickly reduced a complex human situation into a simple narrative. Either she was betraying Vaughn's memory, or she was a free woman living her life. Tayshaw denied any romantic involvement with GD members and rejected the idea that her personal life should be governed by gang politics. She emphasized that she would not allow the internet to dictate who she can stand next to. The irony is that Vaughn was widely described by those close to him as generous and protective. Kayla has spoken about how he provided for family and friends once he found success. His crew reportedly saw him as a leader and protector. He made sure his mother, his sister, his children, and others around him were financially supported. That was part of who he was beyond the music and street image. The viral footage did not explode because of what it clearly showed. It went viral because of what people projected onto it. It touched on gang loyalty, generational grief, gender expectations, and the way hip-hop culture sometimes turns real-life trauma into digital spectacle. In Chicago's drill culture, affiliation is often treated as permanent. Vaughn built much of his public identity around being BD from O-Block. So when fans saw his mother near alleged GD members, some interpreted it as a violation of that identity. But that reaction reveals something deeper. Many consumers treat these conflicts as entertainment while expecting the people living through them to permanently follow unwritten rules. Tayshaw Bennett is not a gang member. She is a mother who lost her son. The expectation that she must honor street boundaries in her private life reflects how deeply this culture has shaped public perception. The broader fallout from Vaughn's death continues. Legal battles, indictments, and lawsuits have extended the ripple effects of that night in Atlanta. FBG Duck's mother has filed a wrongful death lawsuit naming multiple parties, alleging that the drill scene profited from escalating rivalries. Meanwhile, the man who shot Vaughn has publicly discussed how the incident changed his life and body forever. The cycle continues: arrests, court dates, interviews, viral clips, each event feeding the same machine of attention. Against all of that, Tayshaw Bennett went out, danced, and was photographed near people the internet decided represented the other side. For that, she faced intense judgment. Supporters argue she deserves to live her life. Critics argue she should remain aligned with the loyalty her son represented. Memes spread. Edits circulated. The situation became content. What the viral moment ultimately exposed was not betrayal, but the impossible expectations placed on families affected by gang violence. She is expected to mourn according to rules she did not create, for a war she did not start, in a city where generations were shaped by systemic failures. The BD-GD rivalry has spanned more than 5 decades. It evolved from neighborhood protection groups into organized crime networks, into federal prosecutions, into drill music consumed worldwide. It now lives in courtrooms, documentaries, lyrics, and social media timelines. After Vaughn's death, his family released a statement thanking supporters for keeping his legacy alive through his music and memories. It asked fans to honor him. It did not ask them to police his mother's personal life. The footage went viral because people wanted it to symbolize something. For some, it represented broken loyalty. For others, it represented resilience.